Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dinner Bros Pod. As always, I got my guy Ryan Johnson here with me today, also known as
Carlicioso.
every time. The people dig that every time.
I love when people giggle when I say it.
We also have a very special guest in the house today as well, Miss Amy Bream. So, Amy, if you don't mind, kind of educate the public on who you are, where you're from. Kind of give us your rough background, right?
Educate. That was there. It is.
Yeah.
Well, I've lived in Nashville since 2014, but I moved from Pennsylvania, like a small town there, and I came out here for music. Very different.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Can you sing, or it's just?
I sang, and believe it or not, I played saxophone in college.
Oh man, I played the trumpet. But
really?
this is
Here
about
we
you.
go.
Yeah.
I think the saxophone is probably the sexiest instrument. But go ahead.
There we go.
Yeah.
I played, sax and piano and sing and songwrite like everyone in Nashville, but loved it. Like Music City was great, but then realized I didn't want to make my paycheck through music, and then started like working marketing, just lots of evolutions of jobs, and then eventually I started competing in CrossFit. Little switch around, and here we are. So
Nashville since 2014.
Yeah.
Came here to be, I guess, you say singer-songwriter, music. Is that still like one of your hobbies to this day, like when you have time, or?
A hobby when I have time, yeah.
Gotcha.
I just play for me, though. I don't like try to play out or anything anymore.
Okay. And I guess to the listening public here, so Amy and I first met each other at Title Boxing. I think it was as we were getting ready to come out of COVID, right? Like that 2021-ish kind of.
I believe she could take you too.
And I had probably so. I mean, and I was discussing with another former title goer that like her class was like the second hardest class at the time.
He says second. It was the hardest.
No, well, she had all the burpees. I don't know. The boxing part wasn't the hardest, but like the active rest and like all that was just like absolutely way too much. And so you were at Title for about 3 years, maybe?
Yeah, I had actually been there since 2017. So I was there in full for 6 years, but as their operations director, but I taught classes for fun because I loved it. But yeah, now I work for myself full time.
Gotcha. Because as I knew it, right, like you were the face of Title. Every time I came in there, I was like, does this woman lead the building?
Not really. For a while, no.
And then since you left Title, right, you said you're kind of in business for yourself. What are some things that you kind of moved into?
Yeah, so I still compete and train myself for CrossFit. I've been sponsored to do that for the last few years. And then I actually, in this past year, I've picked up a good amount of speaking engagements. So I do that either in Nashville or travel a little bit, not too much for that. But and then I also program like workout programs for people one-on-one. And I've just started accountability coaching. So like working one-on-one with people to help get them through some hard shit and onto some goals.
Okay, so within all of that, like how do you, sounds like you're right, obviously got a lot going on. I know your calendar is super, super busy. As always, we're honored that you decided to spend part of your time here with us.
Very honored.
Yeah, but how do you find time for things?
I was kind of starstruck. I'm sorry.
How do you find time for things that like Amy wants to do, right?
That's actually a really good question because I've definitely run into that since like leaving a more typical full-time job. I'm like a very structured person, so I was very intentional about scheduling things out. And then finally got to a point where I was like, my friend was like, when was the last time that you had fun? And I was like, scheduled fun?
Yeah.
She's just like go have fun, relax. And so that is actually one of my goals coming into the new year of actually like specifically because that used to be like working out for me. That was like my time away, and I still love it, but that became part of my job. And so I never really recognized that shift, and then just went full into like working mode and like trying to hustle. And I still want to I'm still very much doing that, but I am trying to like step back a little bit and reserve time for fun things.
I didn't know if you had a thought on that.
Not right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so as far as the working out piece, right? So I know, again, like you were always a face of Title. I would see you take classes sometimes, even back there in the F-Series class. So like now, are those workouts that you program by yourself, or are you like still like within like a fitness community, or like how does that look?
So for the past year, I've been with a CrossFit team. They're called Proven Athletes. Like that's the team name, and they like are a team of athletes that compete in CrossFit events. And so I've joined like their team and done their programming for the last year. And so when I'm working out, even if I'm doing my own training, I'm still surrounded by that group.
Right.
So that's primarily what I do. I'll like still like now again I'm starting to box a little bit just for fun, like cross training. But CrossFit's like pretty I'm not one of those people like everyone has to do CrossFit, but what attracts people is like, it's a lot. It's like strength, it's conditioning, it's swimming, it's running. It's literally like you go into a competition not knowing what you're going to have to do, and you just have to be prepared for whatever. And I really like that because it makes the training fun, because nothing, like, yes, you have to stay consistent with like certain movements, but there's always something new to learn. So.
And then within the competitions, right? Like we know that you were kind of the face of the games for a bit. Maybe you still are, right? How often are those, right? And what kind of preparation leads to that?
Yeah, so it depends on, honestly, it's usually somewhat up to the athlete. Most, if not every CrossFit athlete will at the very least do the CrossFit season, which for them starts usually in January or February. And then you actually work out at home and submit videos, something called the Open. It's like a national thing, a bunch of people do it. And then you just go through, like, they call them qualifiers online. And you just try to get a high enough score, submit a video that they judge. And if you like get one of the best scores, you get to progress to the next time. So there's that, like there's online qualifiers, usually like, cause I'm in the adaptive division, there's usually the Open and then semifinals. And then the ultimate, like for the year, is the games. In the last few years, that's in August. So I've done that for the last 3 years. This past year I actually competed 4 times in the year, which was a lot. Yeah. This year I'm taking a little bit of a step back from competing. I'm still training, but competition itself, like physically I feel good, but mentally I just need a little bit of a break, because it was like I competed in Australia and Madison and Miami and North Carolina.
Madison, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's where the games are. Well, where they have been.
Okay, that's what go overseas like that. Is it like all expense paid, or are you like?
So the last 2 years I've been sponsored by Nike, and so the way that works is I get, obviously, like, clothes and stuff is good, and then I get an allotment, and that's to put towards training and whatever competitions I want. So I chose Australia.
Gotcha. I got a question, because I had a friend back in high school. He was sponsored by Nike, and literally anytime he wanted anything, shoes or anything, and I know it may be different now, but he had a form to fill out, and he'll just like send it, and just he'll just get anything that he wants. Does it kind of like still work like that, or?
Somewhat. The way, like for the most part, like if I wanted something, I could talk to my Nike rep and get that. I tried not to pull that like too much, but I did get I got an amount, because they give you an amount to train, and then they give you an amount that this is specifically for Nike gear, to make sure that you are always wearing Nike, because obviously contractually I always wear Nike exclusively. And then if you're at competitions and you have like a coach with you, we'd like them to be like representing the brand as well, like, certain things like that. So it was always enough to like, I'm not in want or need of Nike gear. So, yeah.
So I need to take it back the Adidas gifts that I got.
Exactly.
Check some stripes, man. All right, so you had mentioned competing in the adaptive division, right? And so I guess talk to me a little bit about how, because like not everyone in that division is necessarily like sponsored by Nike or by anyone. So right, so how did it happen to where you got chosen? Like, what did that look like?
It was actually kind of crazy. I have a very like unconventional like kind of timeline with that. And I'm like very grateful for the opportunity, but I started CrossFit in 2021. So I'm pretty new to it. Didn't have any idea what I was getting into. Like someone mentioned it to me and they're like, you might be pretty good at this. Like at that time I was boxing, I just started weightlifting, but I didn't do any of like the CrossFit skills. And then, I started working with a coach at Tidal, and then, worked for like the next few months, did better than expected. And then, they decided to allow adaptive divisions to go into the games. It was their first year hosting adaptive divisions on a competitive level. And so I went to the games like 8 months in, having no clue.
And this was in Australia?
No, this was actually Madison.
Madison, gotcha.
So this was in 2021. Okay. Yeah. And so I did that and wasn't sure what to expect, but definitely didn't expect very much out of it, I guess. It was like, I don't know, 8 months in, what's happening?
Right.
And I had a video actually that a photographer filmed on my last day of competition, and I ended up, a lot of people posted it, and then I posted it, and it was my first experience of something truly going viral.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's where all the opportunity came. Like my life literally changed.
Yeah. Was that that was the Sports Center clip? Was it?
Yeah.
That was a Sports Center clip?
Yep.
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, it was used for a lot that year, and I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but here we are.
No, I remember the title community kind of changed in too, though, because it went viral amongst us. It was like, holy, did y'all see Amy on Sports Center? I was like, oh my God, I gotta go see it. And then from that point, like, you went from becoming, hey Amy, to hey Big Time. You know?
That was when you started calling me Big Time.
Yeah, and every time I saw you, I was just like, okay, one day I'm gonna lose access to her just because of this. But I gotta give you props though. You've never switched up on me. You've been the same person.
Thank you. That is my ultimate goal. So there we go. It means a lot.
I would have switched up. I ain't even gonna lie.
You do that to me?
No, I'm playing.
So talk to me a little bit around like how the coaching works, right? Right. I know you said you had a coach and now you've been involved in the games for some time. Have you kind of moved to self-coaching or what was that dynamic?
Right now, it's a little mix of both. For the last year, like I said, with the Proven Crew, they release like programming and coaching. And the way that setup's been is like I train with that team and there's a team of coaches and then there's a team of athletes. And, the coaches walk around and kind of, the programming is very specific. It's like hit these markers, hit these goals, they know where you're kind of at. So that's what I've been doing. Coming into this year, I'm not going to compete as much.
Right.
If honestly, I'm not sure like when my next competition will be. So I'll still be training with them. But some of what I do is a little bit more self-directed just because I'm loving that as well. So I love being in that environment. Like I'm so like those athletes, like they kick my ass. Like they're so great. But
even in your own division?
Well, I don't train with anyone within my division. Okay. There are really great athletes in my division for sure, that I learned from. But in my like daily setting, they're in different divisions than I am because they're not adaptive.
Right.
And they just obliterate me.
Yeah.
But in a good way, like it's really good to learn from them and see their work ethic. And no matter what programming or training looks like, I want to stay in that environment because I've learned a ton.
I think that kind of like helps you out though, and in a sense, just that's almost like I think you said this the other day, like if you're the smartest person in the room, like you're in the wrong room, so kind of correlate that to working out and everything. So
it was very hard for me at first. Honestly, I was incredibly intimidated, and then over time, you get to know people, and you're like, hey, they're actually like really cool. Like if you feel intimidated, they're not making you feel intimidated. That's like something that I was bringing. So it's like just be like chill out. Yeah. Recognize they're better than you and you have things to learn from them.
So. Yeah, that's another thing too, because I tell people that like just start getting or not in the gym but want to get into the gym, like, well, everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, look, people that have been in the gym for 5, 10, 15 years, they feel the exact same way. Right. Because I go to a gym now and it's like a group setting.
Athlete of the month.
Slight flex. No, I'm playing. But yeah, like I've been in the gym like since I can remember, and I still get that same feeling about like not really intimidated or anything, but it's just this weird feeling that I get, or whatnot. And if I see somebody in there that like kind of like looks a little bit more fit than me or whatnot, like okay, like I'm challenging you today.
Yeah. That's the person you going after.
Yeah, oh, yeah, most definitely. You get 15, I'm about to get 18, or whatever it is.
I feel that I'm very competitive.
I'm very competitive as well, but I believe that theory. What is it like? If you only got 80% to give today and you gave 80%, then I gave 100%.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I felt about your burpees back in the day. If you said burpees for 30 seconds, I'm like, I got 22 seconds hard for you, and I'm about to huff and puff for 8.
You worked hard though.
I appreciate that.
If I didn't think that, I would call you out, and you know that.
I appreciate that. But also talk to me a bit about, right, because you first said you moved here from Pennsylvania, wanted to be in the music industry, singer-songwriter. How did you make the transition to fitness, right? Because those are two
very different things.
Right.
Well, it's funny. They're very different, but the discipline and everything I learned in music so easily translated. I say all the time, if you have kids and you want them to be athletic, have them learn piano from a young age. Because the discipline of practice and consistency and even the dexterity of having to read music, it's like a different language. You gain practical skills that will always help you in life. But I was doing the music thing, and I had some really honestly crazy situations happen when everyone's got some crazy stuff. So without getting too much into it, I met someone here that was in the industry that turned out to be a little bit the show or the concept of catfish. It was essentially that. And they were pretty close to me at the time, and it just it was very it was different season. So it was hard to disassociate that experience with music for me. Not that it wasn't the sole reason for me like transitioning, but after that, like, you know, I kind of realized the catfish situation, and I was just like, I need to step back and kind of like focus on other things, focus on myself and all that good stuff. So I started working at like the marketing department of a children's product and development company, like bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
It was like, let's just like reset, whatever. And I was, you know, I'm a big podcast person.
Shout out to us.
But I also I like to read and like, so, not in a cheesy way, but like self-help kind of stuff sometimes, not in like the cliche, like whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but I kept hearing things like, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter what you do. It matters who you are. And for all my life, I had associated myself with I am a musician, and suddenly that felt taken away. And I was like, who am I? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, it doesn't really matter because I don't like who I'm being right now. So like, let's just pick a job and work on me. And then everything that came from that happened very naturally. Like mm-hmm. I was working out as a member at Tidal because I'd been a member at Tidal since like 2015.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, okay. I was like, baby little girl. Like if you had seen me start.
So was this before the F Series was a thing? And this was all boxing?
So I started actually at the Green Hills location before we owned it in 2015. And then I randomly went to Church Street a few years later, like during this time. And I'd taken a break. I went back and I was like, yeah, like I missed this workout. Let's try it. And I went to Jared's class. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget. He was my first class.
At church?
At Church Street, okay. Yeah, at like 6 a.m. or whatever. And yeah.
Jared, if you watch it, my God. Right? So y'all started at 5:45.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was just one of those situations where they, and himself included, they weren't afraid to tell me what I could do better. Mm-hmm. And that was one of my first experiences at a gym that people weren't afraid to approach me. It mm-hmm. wasn't this like, oh, look at you go. You have one leg and you're trying. It's like, nah, bitch, I want to be good.
Yeah.
Make me good. Yeah. And the whole staff did that. And I felt it like at that time, it was like one of the most welcoming gym environments I'd ever experienced. And so another trainer, he's not there anymore. His name's DJ. He was like, hey, I want to teach you how to kickbox.
Right.
So I was like, I can't kickbox.
I don't know if I know him.
I think he left before you came.
Gotcha, okay.
But he has like the funniest sense of humor. I'll send this to him just to like make him it. But shout out DJ. He's so hilarious and great at what he does. He's an incredible Muay Thai fighter. But yeah, he was like, let's learn to kickbox. And then I did that over time. Felt really stupid at first, but eventually learned and then started teaching. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was just this constant, like, I didn't start any of this with like, I want to compete in CrossFit. Like, I hated weightlifting at first. I dropped, like, Tyler Thompson and Jared Houston will tell you, I dropped my first barbell in the first class I ever took. I didn't know how to do anything.
And were you mortified?
Oh, it was mortified. I went to the bathroom and cried. It was like terrible. But yeah, it was just like little things like that I was like, man, I have not done all of these things. And it really is not because I couldn't, it was because I was scared to. So it's like, once I put aside the, like, just be bad at it, like be willing to be the worst person in the room.
Yep.
And keep showing up. Mm-hmm. And then, it just naturally led to where I am.
That's the key. Keep showing up.
Yeah.
That's the key. Mm-hmm. And I told you when I first went to Tidal, like, I think you probably remember like my first couple of classes, like I had the T-Rex on, like I was terrible. Mm-hmm. It hurt so much to like keep my arms up.
Yeah.
But I saw other people doing it. I'm like, I know if they can do it, like I know I can do it. And so in my head, right, we talk about being a competitor, it kept making me want to go back and go back and go back and go back.
Get better, yeah.
And now people are like, oh, like how long have you been boxing? I'm like, 2 years, but I just come here consistently, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I heard you mention that the coaches weren't scared to like tell you what you were doing wrong mm-hmm. because you had one leg.
Yeah.
Have you been to gyms like that before where they just kind of like, where you sensed it and just like kind of picked up on it?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And it's not any, like, I don't want to knock that because I get it. Like, if you're not around someone with that or like around mm-hmm. adaptations, you don't want to offend mm-hmm. and you don't know their story. You don't know what you're cool with. So like, one of the things I always share with like adaptive athletes, it's like, yo, you start that like conversation. Like mm-hmm. if you feel they're being weird, it's probably because you're being weird. Mm-hmm. So like chill out and just like, say what you're comfortable with, say what you're not comfortable with, and keep it moving. Yeah. But yeah, there are times, especially if I would like, now it's a little better because I think I carry myself differently, but especially when because I started my Instagram account just to like share my story, and I was like, we started from zero. Mm-hmm. And I was saying on the account, don't be afraid to try new things. So I was like, shit, I need to go try new things.
Yeah.
So like it was this accountability cycle. Like that's literally why I even gave CrossFit a go. I was like, yo, I don't want to look like an idiot. And one of my best friends was like, well, you say you shouldn't be afraid to look like an idiot. So go like,
that's a phenomenal best friend.
Yeah.
We do that to each other all the time. Like, you know, we have great advice to give. It's like, hey, you got to look in the mirror sometime and take what you're giving folks.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, sometimes it's hearing stuff you don't want to hear, but I needed to. So that's why I started. So yeah, like when I would go into places, you know, there's those situations where someone was like, you know, I'm like carrying a bag of groceries. And I'd be like, that is the most inspirational thing. I'm like, calm down.
Yeah.
It's groceries.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, but also I try not to be offended. When I was in middle school and stuff, I would always be offended by that kind of stuff. Now I've like grown and I would like to think matured enough to be like, people they're not being malicious.
Yeah.
Like they don't know any different. So if I want it to change, don't be offended and just like educate, like, hey, next time you meet someone, handle it like this.
Yeah, right.
And like keep it moving.
Yeah, so that kind of like leads me into my next question, which you already kind of like answered it or whatnot. But what have you exactly said to somebody? So if I were to come up to you and you kind of felt that I was like kind of hesitant on telling you something just because of yes, if you like, what would you say to me? Like, let me give you an example. Like where the barbell workout, you said you dropped the barbell, and I want to tell you something, but I'm not actually saying it or whatnot, trying to just give you pointers or whatnot. Would you just straight up say like, hey, like obviously this right here, but you can, would you say like you can tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Yeah, for real. And I like would say like the more I did it, the more I was like, I want to be pushed. Like, tell me what I'm doing differently. I said, there's this like learning curve. And even like when I joined the Proven team, even this last year, they were upfront about that. Cause they're like, we've never trained an adaptive athlete. And I was like, well, I've never joined a team like this. So,
right.
Like, there's a mutual learning of like me telling you, this is what my body can do. And this is the way I've done it. But I'm also open to realizing that I may be wrong. Like there may be more capacity. And that's like my first coach at Title, like it was Scooter. And so he was really good about like seeing where I was, but also pushing me a little bit to be like, yo, you could do more. And a lot of times he would try it with one leg. And like once I saw it demonstrated, I was like, okay, like I can get better. So it's just like, tell people up front what you can do and then be willing for feedback to like, no, you could get better.
Okay. And just to educate me real quick. Is that what you call it, adaptive athlete? Or is that a program, but that's the actual term?
I would say like in a gym setting, I would think that's like the safest way. Cause like some people, you know, there's so many opinions about like calling it disability, like whatever. I'm like, yeah, it is. Or like a handicap, like, you
because my dumb ass would have said that. So, okay.
But like, again, that kind of thing, I'm like, it's a word. Like for me, and not everyone like agrees with that sentiment, and that's okay. But I'm like, I'm not defined by a word. Like y'all do, like you say what you want to, I know what I can do. And so for that, it's just, you know, adaptive athlete in this space is probably
learn something new every day. I did not know that.
She would make you feel bad in her class. So you said something that made me think of, I don't know if you've seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I have.
Greatest show of all time. So Tyrion Lannister, he's telling Jon Snow, he was called like the bastard of Winterfell or whatever. And he was like, know what you are and wear it on you like armor. That way no one can use it to hurt you. That was kind of what that reminds me of.
Absolutely.
But then I told you got to watch Game of Thrones, dude.
I've actually been telling myself, I'm going to do it. I have two shows actually a comedy show and a movie. I got to get out the way first, and then I'll start.
That is once.
Basically, what you're saying is bullshit.
No. I fall asleep. I've been trying to watch this movie. I'm no lie. Since
What's the movie?
Equalizer 3. But here's the thing. I went to the movies. Fell asleep during the movies, lied and said I didn't fall asleep. And so and it came out on Netflix on January 1. And I've been falling asleep every single night trying to watch it. I just fall asleep just like that. I don't know what my issue is.
Please don't take offense to this, but are you aware of how long Game of Thrones is? It's an hour for 10 seasons, minimum.
It took me the whole year just to finish Yellowstone.
And then from the 6th season to the 8th season, the episode's an hour and a half.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, it looks like in 2025 I'll be.
Well, the thing is, I'm going to rewatch again because House of the Dragon season 2 is coming out, I believe, in the second half of 2024. So I got
good.
True, but it's not a crime though, because Game of Thrones is regarded minimally as a top 5 show of all time.
Yeah.
So that makes up for it,
right? Because it's like this: if we're talking about Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and then you see, I don't know, Kyrie Irving come along, and you're like, no, that's good. It's like, but is that a crime, though?
No, it's just unfortunate for him.
Right, exactly. Which he's still great in his own right, but just because you're not regarded as the best of all time, I can't
knock him for it.
Yeah, I can't knock him for it.
It's really hard to follow Khaleesi and be like, like this is a show I still want to watch. You know what I'm saying?
And she got what she deserved in the end too, because that wasn't necessary.
Well, don't tell me.
It's been 3 years. Yeah, man. He's not gonna watch that. We're gonna be dead and gone, and you still gonna be, man, I should be watching. But now she would always say, so back to the adaptive portion, right? You would always say in your class, whenever we be doing burpees and she'd say something that was difficult, she'd be like, I got one leg and I can do it. I know y'all can do it with two. And I'd be like, did she really just go there? And I'm like, fuck it. She not going to one up me.
She's taking digs at y'all.
Only when was necessary or I thought it'd be funny. But yes, I said that a lot.
What about when it was a combination, when it was necessary and it was funny?
Yeah, that was the perfect time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it did get the job done, though, because I started to look around and everybody started to, and I was like, okay, I guess I got to follow suit.
She has a point, huh?
Yeah, she got a point.
I will say, like, 99% of the time, it was always a joke. There was one time, I've referenced this a couple of times, I came back from my very first adaptive-only competition, and that will, like, humble you more than anything, because I saw there's way more. There's lower divisions, there's upper divisions, like missing like arms, other extremities, and then there's neuro divisions where I literally saw people have a seizure, get up and finish the workout. Ooh. And so I came back from that weekend of watching all of these inspirational people who would give anything to like have their full movement, and then I taught the 12 p.m. class on Monday at Title, and like
I remember this.
Yeah, yep. And like I said burpees, and half the class left to go get something from their locker, and that was the one time that I was like heated. And I turned the music down. I said, y'all, if you had seen the shit I saw this weekend, get your ass back on the bag and do the movement, because people want to have what you got right now.
You literally said that. You said it's a privilege to I told you that. You said it's a privilege to be able to come in here and do this. You said there are people that are dying to have what you guys have.
Yeah. And I don't think it's helpful to say that every time, because I don't want to negate, like, other people are bringing in, like, mental things. Like, maybe they're having a hard day. Like, it doesn't take away from that. There are moments that I'm like, realize what you got right now.
Well, no, it was helpful to me, because it's one of the things I talk about all the time is like having gratitude, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, like, why are you always so chipper? And I'm like, a lot of you guys don't realize the privilege that it is to go outside and be able to put one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It puts that kind of stuff into perspective.
Yeah, it really does.
Right?
Yeah.
And I will say, when we first started, I don't even think we were living with each other just yet. I think we just started like kind of hanging out, getting ready to move in with each other. And I never, which we kind of know we're privileged in some ways or whatnot, but I didn't really realize until you said something one day. You was like, we live in the top 1 or 3% in the world, because just like we have everything at our disposal. When you go over to some of these third world countries, and they're literally begging to have everything that we have, and I'm like,
have a glass of water,
and I was like,
and we can go get it anywhere
for
free.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, I always knew this, but like I didn't think about it like that way. Yeah. But also one thing we talked about, this kind of fun, I think it was like last week, something, what was the story? Something about the warm up or something like that. You weren't going to the gym and I wasn't going to the warm up.
Okay, so coming back from Christmas break, and I took maybe 2 days off, and I was like, okay, the third day I'm gonna get my black ass up, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm laying in bed. I'm going to try to make the title class at 4:30, and I normally, walk to the gym. It's a perfect warm up, and then, kind of decompress on the way back. About 3/4 of a mile there. So I'm in bed. It's like 4:05, and I'm like, yeah, not really looking too likely. And so you came into the house. I was like, you going to the gym? And you was like, yeah. And I was like, he was like, are you? I was like, nah, man, I'm listening to my body. I can't do it today. And then
4:30 hit.
Yeah. It was like 4:28 maybe. Mm-hmm. And the class starts at 4:30. I'm like, my God, I was like, you still gonna make it to the gym? He's still in the bathroom doing whatever he does. And he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna skip the warm up. And I'm like, so you're not gonna get better today? And he was like, well, my body told me not to go to the warm up. I was like, hey man, you want to be better?
Yeah. I got you. So did either of you go to the gym that day?
Yeah, I went to the gym. My body was just telling me don't go to the warm up.
Well, he didn't get athlete of the month for no reason. So
yeah, I know.
No. You can't mess around.
So as we do talk about dating here, right? Mm-hmm. You did say that your life has changed in ways that you probably wouldn't have imagined when you first moved here in 2014.
Yeah.
Right, with the singer-songwriter ambition. I'm curious to know, Has that changed anything, like, I guess, within your dating prospects? Do you feel like people have been different because of it? Like,
I carry myself very differently. Like I think if anyone knew me, honestly, even when I first moved here, they wouldn't recognize me in a lot of ways. Not like I'm still very much me, but I had like no confidence at all when it came to men or dating or anything. So it's definitely like being in the gym, not necessarily like the, like notoriety or whatever, but like just knowing that I'm like strong and capable of doing hard things carries into every part of life, including dating. So that's very definitely like changed. So I guess I think people also assume they're like, you're seen in the public eye a certain amount or whatever. You probably get like, I don't know, like hit on all the time or whatever. Yeah. And really, it's not. I think that is a perception. And I also am not a girl that's like, for better, for worse, like how y'all like took a sip at the same time. That was a moment. Let's take for that.
People hate it. But.
It's something that like, if a guy is interested, I want him to like say it. Like, I'm not very good still about being like, oh, like, can you be interested? Like, you want to go on a date? Like, I would rather not be the one to always initiate. But I've also been told like, well, it can be intimidating, whatever. There's a lot of opinions. What do y'all think? You're men.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. More specifically, what's the question? What do I think about?
So do you think it would be up? So, okay, let's just be like, someone is in a different situation. Maybe you don't know what they have going on. You think you may feel a little bit intimidated to just straight up ask. Would you rather like the girl come ask first, or would you rather be the one to like say something and potentially get rejected?
I'm free to answer whenever. I don't know.
You go ahead. I have an answer, but go ahead. Because okay, what you got to say.
Before I answer the question, what would you assume about me?
About you specifically? I would say you'd probably be okay asking.
Yeah. Well, I know we're both believers, right? And the Bible says you ask not, you have not. My dad would always tell me, if you don't ask, the answer's always no.
Yeah.
We have another saying, like an old head once told me,
don't cost a thing to find out.
It does not. It does not. And I live by all three of those.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if I don't have the courage to go over there and talk to you, it's almost like selling yourself on a job interview. Right? And like, say you're going to go into like sales or any type of like customer facing role.
Yeah.
And the hiring manager or the interviewer is interviewing. They're like, if you can't sell me on yourself, why in the hell would I give you this job where you have to go sell our company?
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
So that would be my answer.
Okay. I respect it. What about you?
Me personally, yeah, same. I don't mind approaching somebody, but also I don't mind anybody approaching me as well. It's just like he said, if you never ask, the answer is always no.
More people would approach you though because you're 6'4", light skinned, and you have tattoos.
But you're dark skinned, brother. You know what I mean?
I'm out of this.
Yeah, light skin's out of style, as they say. So hey, I always gotta go up to them, But yeah, I would say I would approach somebody. I don't have a problem approaching anybody because I'd rather me get that person than somebody else. Like I don't want to miss opportunity or whatnot. And if a girl felt the same way about me, I would want her to approach me as well, because I'm not saying people are lining up on my doorstep or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, if you want me, why would you let somebody else? Like, I want you to be able to take initiative. So yeah,
I do very much agree with that. Yeah.
So as a woman, you would do that to a guy? Like if you saw a guy, like you saw that I'm gonna put you in this fight now because you asked. It's like cross-examination. You can't come ask the question and not get it asked back at you. So if it was a guy you're interested in, and the off chance that you would be out, right? You'd be having your Amy time.
Yeah.
Maybe you were walking Jace down the street.
Yeah.
And you saw a guy, and you could kind of tell by his walk, and maybe he, I don't know, had things going on. Like you could look at him, attracted to him, like
had things going on.
Yeah. Well, based on the way a guy walks, you can tell like this guy's about his.
Yeah. Oh shit. So hypothetically speaking, yeah. Like I have not done that very much in my life, really, if ever, honestly. Like I'm not good, and I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not good at approaching a guy if I'm interested. And that's just, I think I did not date a lot in like as going through grade school or anything. And so like that's changed since coming to Nashville. But I still don't do it like a ton. And so I think, I don't know, for better or worse, it's like, yeah, like I'll approach a guy, but I would much rather it be the other way around. But I've had conversations with like my guy friends and stuff, and they're like, yeah, but you don't understand, especially because like I would express that when I worked at the gym. I was like, you know, there's guys come in because people would be like, why don't you date someone coming into the gym or whatever? Like, no one asked me out. And then they would be like, well, you work there. So like, it's kind of weird for like,
True.
That's true.
so it's like, it's a little awkward. Like you kind of have to be the one to be like, hey, what up? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just not good at
Well, do you ever
Yeah.
give out any like hints or like looks and like what's up? What's up, daddy?
What's up, daddy?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try that next time. Like next time, I'm like, "What up, daddy?" For me, I have not been good at that because what I think is obvious typically is not obvious.
Okay.
So,
If you were, do you have any pickup lines? Have you?
I've never used a pickup line in my life. Straight up.
I'll give you one.
I'm ready.
And I heard this from the Fresh Pencil. Damn, I cannot talk. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There we go.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
And I love this one.
We're ready.
And it's like, hey, baby, I noticed you, noticed me, so I just want to put you on notice that I noticed you too.
Straight up. Okay, I would never say that.
Straight up. I know she's squinting hard.
But if a guy said that with confidence and I could tell he wasn't like being creepy about it, I would love that. Like, just because it's like, it's funny, sense of humor is so big for girls.
Everything.
And confidence. It's like, that is something since becoming like stronger or whatever, it's like, I want to know that whoever I'm dating or whatever is with, like, can handle me. And that shows like a confidence and not willing to look, no offense, stupid.
Right. So immediately, if you were attracted to him, you'd give him a date.
Probably.
If he came that direction.
I would enjoy it and have a conversation to see, if it would be a date. I'm also like, sure, I am not. God, we're here.
I'm just curious, based on it.
I tend to maybe assume a little bit, maybe too soon, if a guy is a player. And that can be whatever. That's not my thing. So if I get that sense, I'll be a little bit more on guard than other people might be in that scenario. But I would still I would love that. Yeah.
So when you said, right, it was something you're not good at, right? Like coming to guys. We've like talked to women about this, and most women would say the same thing. Is there like a specific reason why like most women like wouldn't be good at that? Is it just a rejection piece? Or is it like you think a guy should always pursue? Or just
I want to tell my thoughts too after she's done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, do you want to share first?
No, you got it.
I think, I'm going to be straight up, and a lot of people are not probably going to agree with this, but I know in the last couple of years that everyone's like, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I think that females are badasses. I think that they can do everything. They can hold themselves in a lot of different scenarios, and I'm not taking away from that. But like, that also doesn't mean that a girl doesn't want to be pursued.
Right.
And like, it's just, we've lost this idea of like, yeah, if you're a female badass, you don't need a man. And like, yeah, like I don't need a man, but it doesn't mean like I don't want one.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you get hated on for, I'm like, I don't know, like, the whole thing, like, a guy says, make me a sandwich, you don't make him a sandwich. When I'm dating someone, I want to make him a sandwich because I like him.
Right.
That doesn't, I've never understood the concept of like, that belittles my worth of what I can do.
We agree.
I'm like cool by myself. So me adding someone to the equation is not me belittling myself. It's like, hey, I think that you are an equal partner, and it doesn't make me feel less than to do shit for you and to serve in ways. Like that doesn't, I don't understand. I want, personally, like I would want a guy to, like, I want to feel safe and protected and feel like you can take care of me. And if I'm expecting that from you, why wouldn't I be okay doing things for you? Like in a very quote unquote feminine way.
Right.
So people might listen to that and be like,
this is the most good faith answer that we've had.
It really is.
That's just straight up what I think.
And so you kind of took what I was going to say, the words right out of my mouth, like the whole pursuit thing. Women just want to be pursued or whatnot. And also it just, really just that it just feels good for a guy to come up to a woman and I think they like the confidence of that as well. It was something else I wanted to say, but I honestly forgot. So I probably should have spoken first. But if it comes back to me, I'll just kind of
You'll say it.
Yeah, I'll come back to it. So yeah.
All right, so I guess with that, how has, right, like you said, again, your life's changed in exponential ways you couldn't imagine. Has it changed for you, right, where like there are, I don't even use the phrase potential suitors.
Mm-hmm.
if you get what I'm saying,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. I guess so. And I in a way that like I think that like I said, I carry myself differently. I know that there's I've talked to my therapist about this, about being able.
Hey, we love therapy, guys.
We do love it. About believing that, because for a really long time as a kid, I was like, why would a guy be interested in me? And so like kind of wanting to flip that narrative and like truly live it out of like, yeah, if I have this conversation, there are reasons why he would be into me, and I can believe that and respond in that way. One thing that I'm still, again, working on is like being the first person to like approach or show that I would be open to that. Mm-hmm. That's one thing where I think that I look open, and then my friends will be like, yeah, no, you don't look open. You got like Fort Knox.
The RBF. Yeah. Walk the straight and narrow.
Especially because that is something, like I said, I want to have more fun in the new year. So I'm trying to like put myself in different scenarios that's not a gym, because in a gym setting, for me, for the last 4 years, it hasn't been like, let's go chill, work out. It's like, I'm training.
Right.
So I literally would have people like on Instagram, in competitions, whatever, be like, I almost approached you, but you looked like you were like not wanting to be approached. It's like, it's not that. It's a job. Like, I'm not working out to like be like, what up, daddy?
Yeah. Right.
It's like I'm training, and there is a lot of mental and physical focus on that. And so, but it doesn't mean like I wouldn't be opposed to being approached in that setting. But my first thought when I walk into the gym is not like, who are the dudes around here? I'm like, no, I got a job to do.
Right.
And it's a little bit back and forth, because I do understand like I do need to work on like that RBF and whatever. But I think that when people get to know me more, they understand that. And also it's like, yeah, like again, I want like a pretty like strong, confident guy. So if a guy like looks at a girl's face and media is like, I'm never going to ask her out, it's like, well, he probably wouldn't handle me very well. So that's okay.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't know if you had a point there.
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
There was something you said. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
I was like, that might not be fair.
No. It is fair. It is fair. I'm going to play devil's advocate, but I'm also going to agree with you in the same way. Just watch how
He's the best guy.
No. So you would always say, when you could, like, why would a guy be into me? Mm-hmm. A guy I used to listen to, he'll go nameless. He said,
sure?
Yeah, he'll go nameless.
No, say him. Say him.
Okay, so Kevin Sanders, a guy I used to listen to, was a life coach, image consultant, and he'd always say, you know, whether it's like platonic relationships or you know, romantic relationships, you know, in the workplace, every day you have to wake up and look in the mirror and ask yourself, why would anybody want to deal with me?
Yeah.
And so I do think that's something that's good to ask yourself, though.
Yeah.
But more in a positive light, though.
Yeah.
I don't know the connotation and like how it came across to you, like, oh, well, like, why would a guy be into me? It was like, okay, well, why would anybody really be into me?
Yeah, no, I actually really like that, because it does change the way that you carry yourself with like intentionality of like, yeah, I bring this, and like, I'm not going to deal with bullshit. And also like, it equally shows you what you need to still work on.
Yep.
Because like, if you're looking for a perfect person, sweetie,
got news for you, buddy.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's shifted more in the last few years, because definitely like I went through a very naive stage where I was like, just naive about a lot of things, and was like, yeah, I'm looking for like the perfect scenario, whatever. And then it's like, no, but what's important is like, where is that person wanting to go? Like, if I have goals, I have pursuits, like I have things that I want to do. I want a partner. I don't want to be dragging someone along. And like, if we equally, like, we're going to like mess up all the time, but like, if we equally like have our sights set on like the future and like bigger things than outside of ourselves, then it's like, I think those are the situations you can work, and like trust, obviously.
And go ahead, if you.
No, I was just saying I love that answer because you have a lot of people out here trying to meet people at the finish line and not really wanting to build with them or anything like that. So, and I just thought about that when you said you were like kind of naive, and then also with that Kevin Samuels guys talk about, not trying to talk about him too much. He even like helped me like realize like a lot of stuff as well too when he breaks things down like in numbers, which I'm not going to go all into that, but let's just say if you have like height requirements and salary expectations and all this other stuff, and when he breaks it down to the percentages, people are like, oh well, I didn't think about that. Your chances are slim, buddy.
I actually just listened to a podcast about that. But I never. I mean, I guess you have your ideal scenario in your head, but I don't really give a shit about that. It's the older I get, but I think that comes with maturity, though. Like the older you get, you're like, yo, you are going to be old and saggy and gross, like everyone else. Okay, so like, who are you, and what are you gonna like? How is this gonna go as a partnership?
And they always say like, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And you also said one thing before we jump to the other point here. Like it's like the self-awareness thing, right? Like it's very important to like know what I do really well, and hone in on those things. But it's also equally important to know what I don't do well. You got to know that, right? And try and figure out all those. It's like walking a thin line, right? Are those areas for opportunity? Or is it like, I just don't do this well, and that's probably is going to be, it is what it is.
No, that's fair. That's very fair.
So.
All right, guys, during the break, we had a chance to refill our glasses, and we kind of had a subject or a topic that we had off camera that we kind of want to bring to the camera, you know? So I asked Amy here what her definition of 50-50 was when it comes to a relationship and to the financial aspect of a relationship. So you want to dial in on that?
Oh, just put me on the hot seat.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to back you up on this. So,
I think it depends on the situation, but it was like I was saying, I never go into a date assuming that the guy is going to pay. I do enjoy that because I think it shows a different kind of like intention. And like I said, a girl wants to feel taken care of, and that is one way that you can feel taken care of like, I got this. But I'm also not dating because I'm broke and need a free meal.
Right.
So like I think that it just depends on the situation of like, okay, are you not paying because you're like, I will never pay for a woman? But also like, I do think that you can flip the coin. Would you ever pay for him? Not that you like absolutely have to. I just think it's so nuance of like, who is the person, why are you doing this? But to go in with like an absolute expectation of like, I will not like date this person unless they pay for everything. That's the same as of going of like, you're a really great guy and you're a great date, but you had like a Velcro wallet at the end, so I'm not going to go on a second date. With you.
Everybody talks about those icks, and it's like, bro,
well, it's just like, get to know them a little bit, understand why, and if you wouldn't have that expectation set on you, why would you put that expectation on them?
Okay, so I guess we're all dying to hear my answer. So we had some people comment on us on many different avenues or whatnot about 50-50 and saying that, oh, like my man's gonna do this and do this for, I'm like, I'm not spending a dime and my money's for me and all this other stuff. Well, sorry, sweetheart. You find
the names.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you after. So my definition of 50-50 when it comes to the financial part of things is, and I use the example of, let's just say you and I are married. You're the primary breadwinner or whatnot. Basically, we all handle what we can handle. So if you get the mortgage, like I will take care of the cars, insurance, whatever. I'll do all the grocery shopping or whatnot. That's kind of like 50-50 to me when it comes to the financial aspect of things. But I think some people are just, I don't know what world they're living in to where they think that, and especially in this day and age, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the spot too. No, so a lot of these were black women and then white women that like black men.
Right.
And so you break down the salary expectations, and at least I think it's what 1% of black men in the U.S. make over $100,000 or make six figures. Did I say that right? Or was it a little bit more?
Over like 250, I think.
Over 250.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what six figures like just?
That may be like 5 to 10, maybe.
Okay. All right. That's still pretty low though. Yeah. All right. And then we have like other expectations that we're not really going to get into, but just off the salary expectations. And depending on what city you live in, $100,000 could be 50 somewhere, or it could be
New York, Southern California.
Yeah. Now, if you're in like small town Alabama, like where we're from, maybe that's feasible. Like I don't know, depending on how many kids you have. But also, we're gonna talk about the kids right there. Are you gonna find that man or that person if you have kids, bringing kids into the equation? Because I'm telling you right now, not a lot of people want to deal with the extra baggage. And the reason why I'm using the females with the kids, because I've heard a lot of females say, and I've been on dates before where I've joked around having a kid, and I'm like, like really? Like you have a kid? And so I'm just going to take it the other way right now. I'm like, the men don't want to deal with that either.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I got to go with my twins this weekend. They be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And the whole day just went well. And I'm like, nah, I'm just playing.
So I just think we need to be drawn back down to earth and come back to realization like, hey, we need to reset our expectations like on things, and you're gonna have to come out there to wallet too. Like
it's also happy to have someone here that agrees with us.
Yeah, it helps.
Well, I think it goes all back to like, what are you looking for in a relationship? Are you looking for someone to like carry the majority of the load, or are you looking for a partner?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes beyond finances. So like even at like say I'm like the total breadwinner. We were talking, I know like a couple who has an amazing relationship that he doesn't have a job and she makes all of the money for them and they love it. He's not a pushover. It's like, I won't say like, yeah, sign me up for that, but for them it works great. Because he takes care of everything else that she doesn't want to take care of. They feel like it's an equal 50-50. So while finances tend to be like a very hot topic,
right?
It's really like, are you my partner in life or are you not? Like, are we like, are we like dividing up $10 and like who gets what? Or like when you're your partner, you don't give a shit about who gets what in the $10. You're like, are you helping me grow and become the person I want to be, and vice versa.
Exactly.
So maybe that's money.
And it's like you do what you can with what you have.
Yeah.
And that would kind of like worry me too if I hear and if you're okay with that, like that's fine. Like, hey, to each their own. But I'm just saying, if and I know we're all agreeing here, but this is for the audience out here.
I'm gonna have a bunch of people come after me after this. Like,
no, we're on the same page. But if somebody were to come to me and be like, oh yeah, like I'm looking for you to do this, that, and other, like I'm just a money pit to you. Like you're not here for me. Like how do I know if shit goes south? Like you're still gonna be here, like next to me. So F y'all.
Respectfully. That's for you. That's being respectful.
Well, that's me being respectful. Sorry if that messes up any Nike endorsement.
Not to say. No, you're good.
All right. So you had mentioned, right? So, being a true partner, right? And again, I always use this. Like, I'm always so honored that you're here. And every time I get to see you or interact with you on social media, I'm like, all right, she still knows the little people the world exists. Do you have any, not to say aspirations, any expectations of like, leaving Nashville at a certain point? Any plans for that? Or do you think like you set up residency here and this is a place that you could like, find your partner and establish here?
Yeah, for me, I will never say never because like I came here, I grew up telling people I am one of the least athletic people you will ever meet. I didn't make eye contact with men. Like it wasn't that I wasn't like an unhappy person, but I was very different. And I expected life to look very different than it does now. So I will never say never. Like I could move. It would need to be for a purpose because I love Nashville. So like I'm not in a place where I'm like, I need a change. I just want to leave. So it would need to be for something that I know is going to help me, whether it be a person or a job. Right now I work for myself, so I can work anywhere. So like, why not be in a city that I love, surrounded by people that I know?
Right.
So yeah, that's just right now. I don't see myself leaving. I have a house. I love it. And, we'll just go from there.
Sure. If you had any comment, I know we're getting ready to wrap up here. So I didn't know if you had anything else that
Just last minute zingers.
That you want to circle back on again. Anytime we get time with big time, it's very honored time. So
I did not name myself Big Time.
Well,
okay?
I did that.
Let's just make that very clear.
I did that.
I did not give that moniker.
But you like it though. Don't act like you don't like it.
I don't dislike it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really have any questions or anything, but I do have another line, a pickup line for you though.
Oh, I'm ready.
Let me see the phone. Let's hear it. So whenever you are feeling froggy and want to pounce on the next man or whatnot, you need to hit him with this. Just walk over there, put your number here for I don't want to know more.
Oh
damn, my bad.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. The joke was so easy.
I will make sure to do that. Okay, I do have a genuine question. I know we're like,
oh no, go ahead. It's all you.
So for me, I never do those kinds of things because I want to feel out the situation to see if he has a partner or is dating someone or whatever. Like obviously married, you can tell, but so like you're in a relationship and a girl does that. Like, how do you respond? Do you feel like uncomfortable? You're like, hey, I got a girlfriend, but thank you.
That's actually happened to me at Dogwood one day, and girl was like, "Hey, I follow you on Instagram. Like, think you're very attractive. Blah blah blah." Like, I forgot how she led it, but I ended up saying to her, "Oh, thank you. I think you're attractive as well." And she tried to keep going, like, continue the conversation. I was like, I'm kind of, I probably shouldn't have worded it this way. I said, I'm kind of in a relationship, but I had just started one though. So that's why I said kind of in a relationship. Yeah. I said, I'm kind of in a relationship. I was like, I'm so sorry. She was like, oh, thank you. She was like, most men wouldn't even tell you, like they would have grabbed my number, Instagram, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, and she was a little bit more attractive. So I will say I kind of like let it
opportunity.
And I'm just being honest now. If she's a little like not my cup of tea, like if she's not my cup of tea, I'm with somebody. It's just like
you say a little more confidently.
Yeah, it's like
say a little more.
Get away from me.
Behind it.
Yeah. Because it's not because she's like less attractive or anything. It's like that. It's like okay, I don't know how I'm gonna put this, but
be for real right now.
Be for real. Let's just say if my girl is out, like she's out there, she's across the room or whatnot, and then I have somebody less attractive or not my cup of tea. Let me say, not my cup of tea, and she's hitting on me. I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to deal with this argument at all because so and so is looking over here,
right?
And I'm not trying to I'm not about to explain why my cup of tea just walked up to me,
right?
Now, if my cup of tea walked up to me and said it, I'm like my girl look good when she does too.
Oh my God!
Hold on.
Bust a bitch up. It doesn't matter what they look like. You say bitch back up. I will. But it's like a straight shooter.
Damn, you can come to me a year ago. But I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm kind of in a relationship right now, but thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
And that's actually have happened to me before. But how would you do it? And don't bullshit. Because I'm gonna call you out now
in front of the camera. All right. So, how serious is it with the girl that I'm involved with? Oh yeah, if you're gonna challenge me, I'm gonna challenge you.
To wrap this shit up, this has just opened a hole.
Yeah. I may want to come back to this.
Yeah. I gotta know all the dynamics.
People have very, very varying degrees of what they think. They're like, if we have not explicitly said we're like exclusive and all this stuff, I can do what I want. And I wouldn't disagree. But if I am being like super, like if I'm getting to know a guy and I feel like we're being like, as cliche as it sounds, like vulnerable, getting to know each other, we are like, whether physical, like all of those things, it's like, be straight up about it. My thing is like, if you're going to do that and we are not committed, fine, say it. And if you are hiding things because you think that girl would walk away, that is your making a choice, and she should have equal information to be able to make the same choice.
I agree.
There are some girls that would be cool with it, and you can keep doing your thing, allow other girls to approach, not say no, and if she knows it, great. People got to know.
Yep.
And so it's like, if you're dabbling and talking to whoever, whatever the situation is, but you are not telling each of and every one of those girls what you're doing, that's on you.
It is. Okay, so, but back to the example though. So how serious is it with the girl I would be involved in your example?
How serious? I think.
Let's just say y'all slept together already. Y'all been going out on a couple of
Yeah, I think if y'all are like, you're going on dates consistently, it's not like a 1, 2, 3 date thing. Like, you've been dating pretty consistently, you've slept together, like, yeah, you should just say, hey, like, I got some other stuff going on.
Right. But I mean, as far as the example in the bar, like, do I turn the girl down? Yeah, that's to the other girl. So that's how I need to know, like, in the space I'm operating with the girl here, like, we had the conversation of like, yeah, you know, we're exclusive. We're not seeing anybody else.
Yeah, obviously this comes down to opinion. So that girl comes up to you. This girl that you've been kind of seeing knows that it's not exclusive. If you want to, yeah, absolutely, you can take that number.
Yeah.
I think it's more the next step of what are you going to do? Are you going to tell this girl?
You asking too many damn questions. Answer the question.
No, because context matters.
But I think that comes down to what you want, though, because you know that saying yes to her means that you might say no to her. You might, even if you don't quite want to let her go, you're giving her the option to walk away because you're being straight up about it. And if you're willing to let her go, then go ahead.
Yep. Okay. So we got. All right. I'm gonna be real with you, sir, and I got 3 different answers based on
your bullshit.
Yeah, I got 3 different answers based on the context.
Answer number 1.
Answer number 1. Fully committed relationship.
Yeah. No.
I'm saying if I'm in a fully committed relationship with this girl here and the girl at the bar.
Yeah. Walks up to you.
And the girl that in the bar walks up to me. The answer is, thanks so much for coming out. I got something going on.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in another life or whatever, down the road.
But why you even got to lead that with that?
Say it again?
Yeah, you don't even have to say. See, that is the thing.
Well, I'm just being real.
Don't keep the door open. Shut that shit.
Mm-hmm. I said that.
Relationship, you are committed. Say, no, I got something else going on. Thank you for the
compliment. Because you let her know it's still a chance.
Away.
Right, but I'm being honest in front of the camera, though. Okay.
I appreciate the honesty.
But
if I was the one in the committed relationship, I would want him to shut it down. There's no open door.
I don't think I really left the door open, though.
You literally just said the words down the road.
But nothing in life is a done deal, though.
Good God.
He always makes it fit his narrative.
Okay.
That's not committing. When you're committed, you're like, we're going to go through some shit, and I don't have an out in my mind. I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen and that changes. I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen. But like, if you're committed, why are you even letting another woman entertain the thought that they could have you?
Well, I did say maybe in another life, though.
He always makes.
I'm saying, is that not what I said?
Say the second answer.
I said maybe in another life.
Second answer.
If that's your honest answer, then absolutely.
I said not right now. Okay. You know, I'm with someone. Maybe in another life.
Obviously, I'm coming from the girl's perspective of what I would want my guy to say.
So to you, is that leaving the door open? If I say maybe in another life?
Not maybe in another life. You said maybe in another life, maybe down the road. You said that phrase.
I did say that phrase. Down the road in another life.
You just sound like an ain't shit person.
I'm asking the question. Okay,
we're splitting hairs here.
We are.
What's the point of saying that? What's the point of adding that?
Because you don't want to make anyone lose. So it's all about what comes after me, right? And I think the way you affect people is big. Because it's big of girls to even come up and talk to a guy in the first place, right? So I still want her to have that confidence to talk to the next guy.
I agree.
So it wasn't like a total no. It's like, hey, because I got something going on. But when I say maybe in another life, maybe down the road, it's like, hey, you're attractive. And if I wasn't doing this, then like I would have been
That is a great buyout.
So I agree with that. Coming from a girl, though, that has the confidence, or like I'm saying, if the girl has the confidence to go up and be that confident, it is equally, like you said with that girl, how she responded to your rejection. It is very attractive, not in like, I'm going to pursue you, but for a guy to equally come back and be like, thank you so much. This is not a reflection of you. I'm in a committed relationship. To me, if a guy said that to me, I'd be like, oh, bummer. But thank God that there's still a guy willing to say that.
Right.
and like walk away. You're not trying to play the field. Like you're not trying to be whatever about it. Well,
and I will tell y'all that girl's name too.
Yeah, and we essentially had the same answer. I just made mine a little more, I guess, PR.
I think guys are like, sometimes they're like, oh, we need to make sure, like they're like, we don't want to hurt their feelings. But what that does is girls will like reach out and cling to any little open door that you give them. So it's not kind sometimes to be like, but maybe, or like, but you're really attractive. A girl can even take that and be like, ooh, do I still got a shot? Like they have an argument. Do I got a shot?
And here's the sad.
Go ahead.
My bad. And here's like the sad thing about that is I feel like just the world in general gives more attractive people, and I kind of like hate saying like less attractive and more attractive, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So I will say that. So, but people who they think are more attractive, we give them more of a leash, or we give them more of like just a stance to be a little bit more kind to them or whatnot. So
dance the line a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's essentially like, especially guys, like kind of like let down whoever their cup of tea is a little bit easier or whatnot. So
I get that, and I'm not like, this is my opinion. I'm not saying it's right.
No.
She's calling me out.
Well, I'm just saying from the girl's perspective, I would rather it just be a shut door rather than be like, oh, but what if? Because we can make all sorts of shit up in our heads. I would rather it be a shut door, let it go, he ain't it, move on.
So the second answer, like if we're casually like talking to one another, we hadn't had the conversation, girl approach me like, hey, like this is my number, this is my Instagram, man, I'm gonna take it. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll reach out to you, but I'm gonna like put you over here for the time being.
Save your roster, huh?
Not necessarily that. It's just like, I'm just going to put you over here. So then I know, and especially like if
players turn into starters.
Say it again?
Bench players turn into starters.
She would be in the stand. She would be in the stands right now. She wouldn't be on the team.
Oh, okay. So she stands to the bench.
On the team? There's
no. I'm just saying in his equation.
Yeah, okay.
In his example. In his example. She'd be in the arena, but she wouldn't be on the court.
Okay, I got
it. Be outside, huh? I'm playing.
It could be outside waiting to get in the arena.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we hadn't had that conversation, and for all I know, she could be doing that.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And that's not necessarily in bad faith, and not that I'm necessarily gonna act on it.
Yeah.
But in my free time, I might peep around. Oh, see what her Instagram looks like. Is she hot? Like, could this be an option
to see if you want to recruit her?
Exactly.
Okay. So I have a question, not to like cut off. I know we got option number 3 still.
Yeah.
At what point are you in a relationship with someone that you're willing to be like, say no to other girls, even is because they're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like whoever you're with, like at what point are you like, yeah, I can have 10s walk up to me all the time and I will say no because you're my person.
That was the first example that I gave you.
Yeah, but like what has happened in the relationship that you're like, this is my person? Is it like we've hit the 3 months mark and why the fuck not? Or like, what is it?
No, I generally try to put a time stamp on anything.
Yeah.
It's more about
that, just by knowing you.
Yeah, it's more about how I feel with someone. Like being able to be, like I said, I'm a huge quality time guy. So like if we go on 2 dates, I'm like, okay, like let's go to Target tomorrow. Like now I want to like do everyday life with you to see like what that's like.
Yeah.
If that goes well, it's like, okay, like let's take a 3 or 4 day vacation together. If that goes well, then like I'm going to start investing like all my time and energy into you. So it kind of like starts right there. A lot of people might say that like that's really fast, but like my, I guess, philosophy is like you don't really know until you know, and it's not a way for me to know until like I'm spending a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
So that's how it looks for me.
I agree. I think one of the really like hard things about like, there's online dating. Nashville like is such an attractive city. There's hot people everywhere. That like it's really there we go. But it's really easy to feel like you constantly have options because there are constantly options. I have one of my best friends, like he had worked with a therapist and he had like a list of things that he was looking for. And when he first told me, I was like, that's really shallow. And then he was like, no, it's not coming from a shallow place. It's because there are great, attractive women everywhere. And this narrows my list of like, if a great girl comes over to me, I could pursue that, but I know ultimately she's not what I'm looking for. And so I will like kindly send her on my way because I don't need another option when I'm trying to get somewhere specific. And I think that is like really hard to do, especially because it always feels good to be like, feel like you're wanted and like someone attractive wants you and all of that stuff. But like long term, I think it leads to a lot less heartache.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, option number 3.
Option number 3.
Yeah.
We're just casually having sex?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I would entertain her right there. Okay. I know you hate all the nuance and all the. Option number 3, we're casually having sex. I kind of want it to be more, she doesn't.
Or the other way around.
Well, we wouldn't be in public.
Contrary to popular belief, not everybody wants you.
No, we've heard it before. Oh my God, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just sufficing example.
But you just said you want it to be more and she doesn't.
Yeah, if I want it to be more and she doesn't.
But you're casually having sex.
Yeah.
Okay, but that could also be the other way around. You don't want it to be more, but she wants it to be more.
And I probably shouldn't have said that caveat because the answer would be the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, I don't think that matters.
Yeah, invite her over. We can have some drinks. We can hang out all night if you want to.
Yeah.
And even if the other girl is like there with me.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Because now you see the competition, and it's like you better make up your mind, or these are the type of things that happen.
Yeah.
And and again, I'm probably real bold with that answer, but we're all like that though.
I kind of feel like it would be different though. Like if you wanted her and she didn't want you, and you were trying to prove that you wanted her, you wouldn't entertain anybody else, would you?
Not me. Most guys probably wouldn't, but I would. And you know me.
Good Lord.
You say you're going to put me on the spot? You say you're going to put me on the spot?
I'm just asking.
You say you're going to put me on the spot?
In that scenario, he's trying to make her jealous.
Okay, yeah, true.
It's no different than I'm at company A, they're not paying me what I want. I go to company B, getting paid what I want. Company A looks at it like, damn.
Yeah. So I'm going to be like, yeah, I agree with that scenario. If that's what you're in, that's what you're in, and that's cool and great. I make it a very specific point never to be in that situation. And I think it makes me, I don't date a lot because of that situation. I'm not willing to I don't do casual like that very well, which is fine. Like I've come to a point where I went from like naive to being like, like everyone wants different things. And that's like, if that's what you want, that's what you want. Cool. But like, you're not going to pursue me because I'm not going to put up with that.
Yeah, fair enough. But that was also an example that you gave me, though.
I did.
So I was trying to make sure I answered the suffice.
She's judging.
No, it's cool.
No. People think that it is. I'm not judging on it. I'm just saying, like, I tell guys straight up that if they like, come at me in a certain way, whatever, and like, hey, that's cool. If you were looking for casual sex, cool. I'm not your girl. Don't waste your time.
Right.
And that's just, I'm at a point in my life where that's not it.
No matter how attractive they are.
I do not give a shit.
I just wanted the people to hear it.
Hey, you want to get it on camera?
Yeah, I just wanted, so nobody comes over here and tries Amy. She ain't putting no shit.
Hey, that could be a great reel.
If you were looking for fun, that's never, I just don't see that going in a way that's not going to hurt someone at some point. And I'm at a place in my life where I want more than that.
Yeah, and you got too much shit going on anyway. So.
It's just like, that's not it for me. So,
sorry, did you have anything else?
No, I just love her.
Did I make anyone uncomfortable?
Oh no, keep making people uncomfortable. Like do you have any additional questions for us? Like, feel free to ask us anything.
Well, now I'm just like, what are y'all situations that we got all this shit going on?
I'm in a perfect situation.
What do they call it? A season of growth.
Yes.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. For certain people, right? I'm just, I generally kind of like fly by the seat of my pants and kind of take life as it happens in that regard. Right? So I'm just kind of roll with the punches. I throw some punches myself. Learning from you.
There we go. Uppercut.
Yeah. My favorite combination is the jab and the slip and then the up, come back with the lead.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. So guys, as we wrap up here, you guys have had the rare and privileged opportunity that we've had to get to know Miss Amy Bream here. If you guys have any questions or comments, we can be your media team. Filter those through us.
Exactly, yeah. If I have guys come at me a certain way, I'll just send them through y'all.
Yeah, filter those through us. We got to Spotify, Apple,
YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube. I ain't gonna tell you how many subscribers we have, but it's ticking on up there. But yeah, I think that's all. Until next time,
peace. That was good. Oh my God, I have to.